Now, before we go to Mark Morano at the bottom of the hour, one of these reports that came out yesterday, we just kind of touched on a little bit, was the fact that Donald Trump had reached out to Robert Kennedy Jr. because Robert Kennedy has spoken out against the abuses of the CDC, the abuses of mandatory vaccines and that sort of thing. I think it's very important to see people that he's bringing in, on which he would have a lot of disagreements with, but reaching out to people that are Democrats who would disagree with him on pretty much everything except this core issue. Donald Trump has spoken out on this. It's one of the things that really made me stop and say, this guy is genuine. I mean, the first thing about Donald Trump, and we've heard the Republicans so many times say, we're going to close the border, we're going to get rid of Obamacare, and they never did it. They never did any of the things that they said they were going to do. But Donald Trump had been, when I realized that 30 years earlier, he'd spent $100,000 take out ads against the unfairness of NAFTA. I thought, this guy's for real. And when I heard him talking about vaccines, it's like, wow, this guy's not only for real, but he's not afraid to take the heat. And that's what we're seeing here with these attacks on him by the intelligence services, by the elite, by the globalists. It's because he's saying this type of thing, which actually is what Robert Kennedy has said. This is what Robert Kennedy said in hearings in Vermont. He said the CDC is a troubled agency. There have been 4 separate scathing federal studies about the CDC. I'm not talking about the whole agency. I'm talking about the vaccine division. One by the United States Senate, a 3-year study, one by the House, another by HHS, by the Inspector General, and a study this year by the Office of Research and Integrity. And all together and separately, they paint a picture of an agency that has become a cesspool of corruption. He said, I ate breakfast last week with the president of a network news division. See, this plays into this fake news stuff that we've got from the networks. Another reason why they don't like Donald Trump. I had breakfast, he said, with the president of a network news division. This is RFK Jr. And he told me that during non-election years, 70% of the advertising revenue for his news division comes from pharmaceutical ads. And if you go on TV any night and watch the network news, you'll see they just become a vehicle for selling pharmaceuticals. See, they didn't like Donald Trump because he didn't buy a lot of TV ads from him. He spoke to you directly on Twitter. He didn't spend much money on TV. They didn't like that. Set up a whole new pattern. That's one of the things they didn't like about him. But really, the fact that they make so much of their money from pharmaceuticals, that is a key thing. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk about climate change, where it's going to be changing in the EPA under a Trump administration.
InfoWars has more than 15 YouTube channels and about 3 million subscribers. Our main channel has 1.854 or 1,854,000 plus subscribers. Now, they've been gaming the system for a long time to shut down nationalistic or patriotic media, saying we're right-wingers, saying we're extremists. Well, it doesn't matter who we are. We have a right to free speech, don't we? As long as we don't violate the rules. Well, now Zuckerberg has come out and said he's going to restrict conservative news like communist China does, calling it fake news. And Google, that owns YouTube, has announced, and they've done it now 2 weeks ago, that they're going to basically make you click the bell in your notifications. We're going to show you how to do that, or you won't get all the channels that you've subscribed to, and you won't get the videos. Now, why are they doing this? It's more than just censoring. They want you to see the videos that they feed you below and beside the videos you're looking at that are corporately sponsored so they make more money. They're taking the you out of YouTube. So we're in this information war, and it's more important than ever that you promote the videos, that you like the videos, and that you send them on to others. Because the answer to the attempt to shut us down and restrict free speech that's openly now happening is for us to redouble our efforts. We're winning the culture war as true classical liberals that made this country great. We're restoring the Renaissance. So again, if you want to get our videos, so you can make your decision whether you want to see them or not. After all, that's why you subscribed. YouTube's had this since they started 12 years ago or whatever it was. And they're fundamentally changing it so you don't get it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is promoting fake news and trash news and establishment news. It's killing real independent news. But we the people, by taking action, can break the back of this system. So please click on the bell so you get the notifications and so you get in your feed the videos and channels you've subscribed to. I'm Alex Jones for Infowars.com.
Now, before we go to Mark Morano at the bottom of the hour, one of these reports that came out yesterday, we just kind of touched on a little bit, was the fact that Donald Trump had reached out to Robert Kennedy Jr. because Robert Kennedy has spoken out against the abuses of the CDC, the abuses of mandatory vaccines and that sort of thing. I think it's very important to see people that he's bringing in, on which he would have a lot of disagreements with, but reaching out to people that are Democrats who would disagree with him on pretty much everything except this core issue. Donald Trump has spoken out on this. It's one of the things that really made me stop and say, this guy